What's up, YouTube? How we doing? So, my name's Rob, and I'm in recovery from a gambling addiction. Made my last bet November the 12th of 2022. This has now become our weekly live stream that we're doing, except it's a night early. Usually, it's on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in case you're watching the replay and want to join the next one. This week, because of Thanksgiving, we moved it up a night, because that's life. You know what I mean? So, welcome to the chat. Tonight we're going to be talking about gambling addiction. So I'm going to take any questions that people have about gambling, gambling addiction, addiction recovery. And over the course of the night, hopefully you hear or you're able to ask one of the questions that you had. And you know what? A lot of people sometimes are shy to ask questions, but would love to have literally any question that's on your mind. Feel free to drop it in the chat. And if you're just joining, welcome. I see someone popped in and left a like on the video. It's the number one way you can help out to start. It'll get it pushed out to more people. My interpretation is that the way the algorithm works here on YouTube for these live streams is if you hit the like button early on while I'm live, it'll push it to more people that are scrolling down the shorts tab or the live tab. And hopefully we see people pop in and get to ask some questions about gambling addiction. Here we go. You've lost a bunch of money this week, you're losing your mind. Well, you're in the exact right spot, my friend, if you are ready to stop gambling. Truth is, I don't know if that's a lot of money to you. I don't know if you're going to keep gambling or if you're ready to stop. But if you're ready to stop, then I can help. And the things that you need to focus on while recovering from a gambling addiction are finding alternative things to do with your time, limiting access to money that's tempting you to gamble, going to support group meetings, and self-excluding from the casinos. And if you check the description of this video, I actually have a complete guide on how to quit gambling. It's exactly what I did to get myself 3 years clean. 2 months bet free for Erwin. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. And it's not just thanks to my videos. It's thanks to the hard work that you're putting in. I'm happy to have been a part of your journey, but make sure you're giving yourself the credit, right? I'm not there waking up and, making sure that you don't gamble every day. That's you. You're doing it. So congratulations. Been doing my best to stay away from the casino. It's so hard. Definitely hard, especially when you developed an addiction to it, right? Because it's become the thing that we perceive to be what gives us pleasure, what gives us happiness in life. But if we take a step back, and we think, if the only thing in life that makes me happy is going to a casino, that should be a red flag that there could be a problem. I was there as well, though. I thought that the only thing that made me feel okay was gambling. And it's because my brain had become adapted to crave it. It became addicted to it. And so over the course of the night tonight, as people are asking questions, as I'm dropping answers and sharing parts of my gambling addiction story, if you can relate to it, you're in the exact right spot. Because for a really long time, I thought I was the only person on earth with a gambling addiction. Turns out that's not even remotely true. Gambling's growing exponentially, and people with addictions are popping up every single day. And you might not be at a point where you have a full-blown addiction, but hopefully hearing some of the stories, hearing some of the questions asked tonight can help you to avoid going further down that path. Because no one ever told me that they thought I was a gambling addict. No one ever said I should stop, besides a couple of comments here and there. I guess that inherently someone did say to stop, but it wasn't too often. And so I'm here not to tell you what to do, but to share my experience, and then hopefully you can come to the conclusions yourself about what's healthy for you to do. I really love playing craps, but every time I roll the dice, I know I don't belong here. Well, there's certainly parts of gambling that are enjoyable, right? Or we wouldn't get addicted to it. But you have to think, is rolling these dice worth all the consequences that it's going to bring into my life? Because for some people that just go once a year to a casino and play a little bit of craps, it's certainly a fun thing. But for me, someone that was gambling for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, it wasn't just one roll, right? It was eventually going to be lost. So I like to say here on this channel that all wins are future losses, no matter if you have a good run or not. Let's see, I always noticed that they had hot phases or periods of time where the slots would have match play. Creates more incentive to continue to gamble, like some kind of promotion. Yeah, all types of casino promotions are out there to manipulate you, to get you to go and gamble away your money. The pull of wanting to win back your money is too strong. All wins are future losses. You might win a little bit of money back, but it's only a matter of time until the wins become future losses. Oh, F, thank you for the gift, my friend. No need to send any gifts tonight, guys. If you really want to support the channel, all you need to do is be subscribed and watch videos when they come up. You can let me know if you like them, if you don't like them, what to fix about them, but really just being here and engaging with the channel, it gets this message out to more people, and you're doing your job just as I'm doing mine. Gambling led you to file bankruptcy at 29 years old. Thankfully, you got a fresh start. but you recently found yourself day trading. It's not going good. Is this gambling in your eyes? Yes. And it's something that I got into during the interim period between February of 2022 and November of 2022. And I told myself that it wasn't gambling because I really liked it. I really wanted to do it, right? But for me, the way that I was trading, it was essentially like a roulette spin. It was like flipping a coin. Really didn't work out. So be honest with yourself. And usually I find that if someone asks, is X gambling? Is Y gambling? The answer is going to be yes, because you wouldn't be asking me if you didn't think that it actually was, you know? 2 weeks into no gambling. Congratulations, Angelo. Last bet was on Veterans Day. You were a veteran. Yes, especially... Oh, you got through some early temptations, yes. I've actually interviewed a veteran named Dave Yeager quite a few times here on the channel. I thought you were going to be talking about that video. Great interview. Great. Great interview. Cool guy. Retouch is on. How do I make it so that it doesn't look like I'm wearing... Retouch is off. Yeah, okay. That was a mess. Don't worry about that. That never happened. Anyways, Dave is a great guy. His interview was really, really impactful for me. It was one of my first interviews that I did on the channel. City says... Oh, no. I'll get to you, City. Let's see. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving. City does say Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. I appreciate you being here. Royce says, state lotteries have released this new type of game called Flay, which is basically a scratch ticket without the scratching. I'm concerned this is the next new wave of gambling. I'm going to check it out because it sounds like it could be like a turbo spin on a slot machine. It could be a very similar situation. That sounds like exactly what it was. Let's see. My opinion on playing... Now, City asks again. This is what I read the first time, and then I scrolled back up because I realized I skipped. City asks, what's my opinion on playing slot games on my phone without real money? I used to think it was fine because, hey, you know, we're not losing money. It could be worse, right? But then what I realized over time, and through the opinion of a lot of the doctors that I work with and have done interviews with, is that you're not giving your brain the chance to heal, even if you're playing those free-to-play slots, because your brain has been hardwired to crave the action of pressing that button, anticipating what's going to happen next. Doesn't actually need to have money involved to trigger those same things in your brain. And the goal in recovery is to give yourself the space to have your brain rewire itself, get you back to a normal way of thinking and living so you can enjoy the pleasures of life again, the little things in life again, and not just the gambling. So, sounds dramatic, but I would say, no, it's not a good thing because it's not giving you the proper space to heal. If you've lost a lot in gambling in the Philippines, it's exactly like it is here. Gambling is massive all around the world. And guys, we get lots of stuff like, what do you think about the Lakers-Clippers over? Rob, you should go back to gambling. 99% of gamblers quit before they win big. I've been going live doing this exact question and answer session for 3 years. I've seen it all. And what I always think is, thank God you're here. Because hopefully over the course of the night, you can keep trolling, you can keep saying whatever you want, but hopefully over the course of the night, you hear something that resonates with you, and it saves you years of extra pain. Because I was just like you, right? I was commenting on people's posts back when I was in the midst of my gambling, saying, oh, we just got to keep going. Like, we're going to get it, guys. We're going to be degens. We're going to win. And, yeah, we saw how that ended up for me. So hopefully it doesn't go the same way for you. I'm just happy to be here. Kara, I'm happy that you caught a live as well. Thanks for being here. And yes, making good money at your job doesn't mean that you won't get hooked to gambling, right? It's not about the money when it comes to a gambling addiction. It's about what it provides in our lives. And for a lot of us, it provides a sense of purpose or a sense of escape. For me, it was a bit of both. Any free apps to ban yourself from online gambling? It's ruining you down horrendous. I'm not quite sure if there's... That's my cat's auto feeder. 3, 4. He's a big boy. I'm not quite sure of any free apps, but honestly, the cost of one of those things is well worth the cost. It's like what you would spend on one spin, right? One parlay. So I work with a company called Gamban. Always recommend them. But trying to find something for free, it just feels like you're giving yourself an excuse to keep going, you know? Jonathan says, my story made me stop gambling. Or my story made you stop gambling. Oh, I'm really glad to hear that it was helpful for you, my friend. But whenever anyone says that, like, I always want to call out, if you stop gambling, it's because of you. It's not because of me. So be proud of yourself. I'm happy to have been a part of the early journey. Am I still meditating? If so, for how long? I've honestly fallen off. I haven't been doing it quite as much. I'd like to get back into it. I've been doing a lot of breath work, which is like that box breathing technique that I like. It's like the 4 in, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Pretty calming, but I would really like to get back into meditating a little bit more. Thoughts on Las Vegas in general? And what's up, John Henry? Happy to have you back, my friend. I think like Vegas there must be other things to do. So it's hard to leverage an opinion on an entire city. I never gambled in Vegas because I'm in New Jersey. So I did most of my gambling in New Jersey and Philadelphia. The idea of Vegas is actually quite appealing, you know, a place in the desert where you can go and gamble. And for a really long time, if you had to fly there to gamble, it's like not even that bad of a thing, right? It's a couple of days. Only so much damage can be done, right? But now there's Vegas in your phone. So I think it's only going to be a matter of time until land-based Vegas is completely wiped out. If you put a fake bet in and it lost, that would suck. But it's really just like, why are you even thinking about the fake bets, right? We're mind betting so that we can give ourselves that rush, give ourselves that excuse, and it keeps us going back over and over again. Yep, gambling doesn't just affect the gambler. I believe the number is for every gambling addict that's impacted directly, an average of 6 people around them are also impacted. So it's something that can absolutely destroy a family. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to do my best to answer all the questions that you guys ask. So if for some reason I miss your question, feel free to drop it back in the chat. I'm going to do a couple obligatory plugs before I continue. And again, if I miss you, just ask it again. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be live for another hour or so. Tonight's live is not monetarily sponsored, but it's supported by Open Recovery. Check them out in the description. We're launching something called Communities over there, where we're going to basically have a big group chat of people that are all in recovery from gambling, and hopefully it can be helpful for you if you do decide to sign up. Additionally, the number one way you can support this channel is by hitting the subscribe button. I work hard each and every day to put out content on this channel aimed at helping you to avoid going down the same path with your life that I went down with mine. All right, back to the questions. Been watching for a while, attended your first GA meeting. Congratulations, my friend. But yeah, it was about the escapism for you. I can relate to that. It was a big escape for me, and it also gave me something to aspire to because I thought you could get better at it. I thought, man, if I just keep trying, if I just figure it out, I'm going to become a professional gambler. And yeah, we saw that worked out. I've been gambling. Prod says, I've been gambling for 2 years and can't seem to have money sitting in my account without wanting to gamble it. You don't know what else to do. So there's 4 things to focus on, and let's talk about the money in the bank account. So when I first quit gambling, I had my mom control my bank account, which felt terrible, but it actually made no practical difference in my life because I carried around the amount of cash that I needed on a weekly basis. So what I'll say is, if you are trying to stop gambling, the 4 things to focus on: having a family member or trusted loved one control your bank account so you're not tempted to spend the money, self-excluding from the casinos to make it more difficult for you to gamble, going to support group meetings, and finding something to do with your time that means something to you. That will be fantastic. Let's see. What's up, Shrey? Rust, welcome back to the chat, my friend. You can absolutely bounce back, as I've told you before. I'm really hopeful for you, and I know that it can get better. Did you ever end up seeking out a financial counselor? That'd be pretty good. Marine drill instructor is not a bad. That's not. Listen. I've been called a lot of things. That's not a bad one. I could live with that. That's not so bad. Yeah, gambling is defined as follows: any betting or wagering for self or others, whether for money or not, no matter how slight or insignificant, where the outcome is uncertain or depends upon chance or skill. So the hedge, listen, my friend, you're going to have days where you have wins. That's inevitable. But the truth is that win is eventually going to become a loss. So you might be in here saying that you won today to try to reconfirm in your own head that what you're doing is a good thing, trying to make yourself feel like you're on the right path when you know it's been killing you for a very long time. I know it because I did it too. But here's the truth. If you keep gambling, it'll eventually become a loss. Mathematically, it's just the truth. So if that ever does happen, and if you ever do reach the point where you're ready to stop gambling, you now know where to come to get help. We get a lot of comments here on the channel, guys. Not all of them are good. But at the end of the day, every comment means that this channel has appeared before someone that might one day need it. And that makes me happy. Let's see. Told my parents about my gambling, was simply met with, don't do it again. I hear you. Because I went through something similar to that, right? Like when I told my parents, hey, I'm in debt from gambling, they were like, all right, don't do that. That was dumb. Like, why'd you do that? But they were like, thank God it wasn't drugs. Thank God it wasn't alcohol, right? It's just because we don't really talk about gambling addiction in our society very much. It's kind of a hidden thing. It's kind of happening behind the scenes. So we really need to express to them, if I was in your position, what I would do, really express to them what's going on. Say, hey, this wasn't just me making a mistake. It was me. I feel like I might be addicted to this. I need help. You need to take the initiative here, because if you're sitting around waiting for someone to call you out on your addiction, you're going to be sitting around waiting until you're at absolute rock bottom, and it's very obvious that you need help, right? We can't blame others for not recognizing the severity of an addiction that they might not understand. You'll lose if you're stupid. Never bet what you don't care about burning. Just come back when you're ready, bro. That's all I have to say. I could fight with you all night. It's just not worth the time. I'm here to help anyone that's struggling with a gambling addiction. If you're in the chat and you're struggling with gambling addiction, or you're in recovery, let me know how long it's been since you last placed a bet. How do you get over a big loss? You have to recognize that that amount of money is what you had to lose before it got worse. That's the amount of tuition that you had to pay, as expensive and unrealistic as it probably should have been. That's the amount that you had to pay to learn that it was only going to get worse. So it sucks. You could kick yourself about it all day. You can make yourself feel bad about it, but that's not going to help you. What's going to help you is to learn from it, to not make the same decisions again, to not end up in the same position again. If you're in a bad debt situation and you're in America, check out GamFin. They offer free financial counseling in a lot of states. If you're not, or if they don't offer counseling in your area, try to find a financial counselor. And if you can't or can't afford one, basically, I think that the thing that leads people to even worse situations is a lack of clarity. When you feel like you have so much debt and you don't know how you're going to pay it back, and you don't even really know what the debt is, like you don't know the full amount, you just know it's bad, it leads to the situation where you think in your head, like, man, one big win is going to solve this. If I just go and bet a little bit more, it might solve the issue, without realizing that you're in that position because you started gambling. So the absolute worst thing you can do is continue to gamble. But the best thing that you can do is to list out all of your debts, figure out how long it's going to take, and start calling people and telling them what you're able to contribute towards that debt on any given basis, any given payment period. Because once you have clarity over it, you can begin to actually handle the situation. But until you have that clarity, you're going to feel overwhelmed. Overwhelmed's going to feel like you need a quick solution. Quick solution for us is putting us in a worse position eventually. Gambling is isolation, absolutely. Let's see. If possible, can you share what future projects you have lined up in relation to my channel? Yeah, sure, why not? So upcoming videos, we have a bunch of podcasts. So those are interviews, gambling addiction stories. We have stuff on prediction markets. We have an expose on Bossman Jack. We have an expose on Jermaine. We have a bunch of how-tos and like tips about recovery and what to do and how to pay back debt. Some reaction videos. And then I'm going to be talking to a lawyer who's suing casinos. And we're going to be talking about what that's like. That's what's coming up pretty soon. Is it possible to be addicted to losing? Yes, absolutely. So the feeling of losing still produces chemicals in your brain, right? And I think that at the core, if we have a gambling addiction, we're addicted to feeling different, right? Like, why are we gambling? Everyone has their reasons. Everyone has like their different things that draw them to keep going. But at the end of the day, it's about feeling different, right? And losing can make you feel different just as winning can. You're really hooked to the action at the end of the day. Can't get out of the loop of withdrawing a paycheck, sending it to a crypto site, and gambling it. 4 things to focus on. And once again, I think that rather than watching this live, the best thing that I could recommend that you do is to check out the video that's in the description called How I Quit Gambling. But in that video, I talk about the 4 things that I did. Finding alternative things to do with my time that meant something to me. Going to support group meetings, having a family member manage my bank account, and self-excluding from the casinos. Let's see. You like to think it's not gambling if it's a specific type of thing that is most definitely gambling. I know the justifications you can go through in your head, right? The mental gymnastics to allow us to do one type of gambling but not another. Oh, like, Rob, I'm hooked to roulette. Can I still sports bet? No, bro. It's just going to eventually end the same way. Gambling is any betting or wagering for self or others, whether for money or not, no matter how slight or insignificant, where the outcome is uncertain or depends upon chance or skill. Let's see. How would I approach the subject of gambling with kids if I had any? So I don't have any, but I would approach it the same way that I would approach talking to anyone about the issue. Hey, have you heard of this thing called gambling? Yeah, everyone at school's doing it. Okay, well, you know that people that gamble, sometimes you can actually have a problem. And you know you're supposed to lose money when you do it, right? What? No, I'm going to win. I'm the best. Well, actually, there's this guy online that's lost a bunch of money. You could see something like his videos, or you can look at these thousands of other stories of people that actually lost money gambling. You know that your streamer that's telling you to gamble, well, they're actually making money when you gamble. What? Aiden Ross gets paid when I gamble? Yes, Aiden Ross only gets paid when you gamble, actually. So it's in his best interest to lie to you. You know, these people that you like, they might be lying to you. Oh my God, I don't like being lied to. That's kind of how I imagine the conversation would go. And that was my kid voice. It's not that much different than my regular voice. Charles, thanks for being here. I recently found the channel. I appreciate you finding the channel. I put out content, and you never know when you make a video if anyone's going to end up seeing it. So if you're here, if you're part of this community, if you've subscribed, if you haven't subscribed but you like to watch the videos, like, thank you. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you just showing up. If you have a loved one, like a girlfriend, boyfriend that's hooked to gambling, it's a tough situation. Consistently communicate the truth, consistently communicate that you might be concerned about them, but you can't make them change if they don't want to. You can protect yourself. You can put them in a situation where they can feel honest, like they can be honest with you. That's all useful, but it is a tough situation. And guys, if you're in this chat about gambling addiction, and you're talking about the lines for tomorrow, that I should bet, that you're going to bet, that you just won, that blah, 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 I'm so genuinely happy that you're here. A lot of you might think that it would hurt my feelings for you to talk about the bets that you're placing, or make me tempted to bet on them. Oh, no. When I started making this content, was called horrible things. I was told that I was a loser. I was a quitter. That everyone else was better at gambling than me. I only quit because I sucked at it. And now for the last 3 years, I've just watched the world slowly start to slip into a state of constant gambling. So many people are losing everything. And so maybe you're not losing everything yet. Maybe you're up money right now. Good. Keep going. Because eventually you're going to hit the point where you realize the truth. And when that happens, if you need help, this channel will always be here for you. Greetings from Brazil. What's up, y'all? I'm in the United States. I'm on the East Coast. 10 days gamble free for Torch the Storm. Congratulations, my friend. Every time I sit in this spot, I end up with cat hair. All over here. I end up just losing it. Can I go live more? I try to go live once per week. I used to go live a lot on TikTok. Now it's like one time a week over there as well. I used to go live every night, and it just drained me because I get the same kind of questions a lot. But I do my best to show up once every week. The cycle is absolutely draining, yes. So, Russ, you were talking to a counselor about gambling, but talking about the gambling triggered you to gamble. No, I think you just wanted to gamble, dude. You're just looking for any excuse to gamble. I don't think it has anything to do with the counselor. I think you would have found an excuse, like you would have found a penny on the ground and been like, wow, it's my lucky day, I should go and gamble. That's the truth, right? I might sound like I'm being hard on you, but you're just if that makes you gamble, you were looking for a reason to gamble to start with, and maybe you're just not ready to quit. Any recommendations on getting a sponsor? Go to a meeting, ask for a sponsor. It's very, very simple. Just ask the person that's running the meeting to hook you up with a sponsor. When would I consider it a gambling addiction? So there's 20 questions. They're actually linked in the description of this video. And if you answer yes to 7 or more of those 20 questions, they're the ones that Gamblers Anonymous uses. That will determine that you do indeed have a gambling problem of some nature. If you just lost everything, you're in the exact right spot, my friend. I put myself into debt 6 times over the course of 6 years, to the point where I had to work a second job just to pay off the debt. And I know what it's like to lose everything and more. So hopefully the conversations that we have here, the videos on the channel, they can be helpful in your journey. But if you're truly ready to stop gambling, the tools are here, the resources are here. And I hope that I can be of use to you. Every time with this cat hair, dude. He's an adorable cat, but I'm totally allergic to him. It's too late now, though. Too late now. If boredom triggers you, make sure you have a plan for the next time that you get bored. Because if you don't, then you're going to gamble. Do you believe you can gamble in a responsible way? Not if you're addicted to gambling or ever were addicted to gambling. I don't believe that you can learn to gamble responsibly. I think it's just something that you would naturally do if you're not addicted to gambling. So I think the idea of responsible gambling is total bullshit. Do I feel like I've recovered financially? Is that too personal? Not too personal at all. I've gotten much, much worse questions on this channel, my friend. Yes, I do feel like I've recovered financially. I've made back likely close to the amount of money that I lost gambling over the last 3 years, and I haven't been losing any money. So that's been the key, not losing money. If you've never gotten into debt but feel like you have a gambling addiction, you totally might have a gambling addiction. The severity of an addiction is not measured by the amount of money that you lost. It's measured by all of the impacts that it can have in your life. And so you might think something like, oh man, I haven't lost that much money, so I'm not addicted. But you could be addicted and you could be up money right now, is the truth. I'm going to move to a different spot so I'm not sneezing because of this cat. Killing me out here. So, guys, if you have any questions about gambling, gambling addiction, or addiction recovery, drop them down in the chat. And my obligatory plug is, if you enjoy the content, if I make any sense to you, smash that subscribe button and join this community. I would love to have you. I work hard each and every day putting out content aimed at helping you to not make the same mistakes with your life that I made with mine. All right. Let's see. Where the hell is the plug? Okay, there it is. We're back. Gambling sucks and you're in recovery from drugs and gambling. Well, congrats on the continued recovery, my friend. Let's keep it rolling. What are my triggers? I didn't have any triggers. I was someone that just gambled every day. And so I woke up, and I guess my trigger was just being alive. I pretty much felt like I had to gamble all the time. So... independently, that's the great irony of it all, is that people that work in the gambling industry get addicted at a higher rate than almost any other profession. It's insane. I'm sorry to hear that you had those situations. And Toast, thanks for being here, my friend. Again, to that same comment, no matter where you're working, you can develop a gambling problem, but people that work in the casinos develop at a higher rate. It's just incredible. Yeah, RG is absolutely bullshit. And I think that what it is like casinos and these like massive corporate entities, they want to seem like they're doing something to battle the problem that they know that they're making. So they're like, well, we told everyone to gamble responsibly and we offered them tools. But we know they can't gamble responsibly and we know they're not going to use the tools. So it makes us look like we're trying, and it's their fault if they don't use it. And that's pretty much what it is. And no, we're not saying the idea of like someone gambling in a way that doesn't destroy their life is the bullshit. It's the bullshit that someone is told to gamble responsibly when it's not something that can be learned. If you were to associate gambling with any of the deadly sins, where would I place gambling? Let me look up what those are. All right. Let's see. Greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth, pride. I feel like it would have to be greed, right? I don't know. I do manage my own money now, yes. So it took me probably about 6 months before I reached the point that I felt like really comfortable managing my own money. But now I'm good. You're tempted to quit, but you want to quit, but you're tempted to put in more money to try to refund some losses and then quit. Does it sound reasonable? No, you're just lying to yourself. So, all right, you put in that $1,000 and you win. You're really going to stop? Or are you going to say, well, now I have $2,000, but I'm down 10. You know what? I'll try to get back 4 more and then I'll quit. And I'll just take a $5,000 loss. Then you're going to say, no, you know what? I might as well get it all back. Then you're going to lose and it's going to be back at 0 and you're going to try to get the 10 back. You're giving yourself a excuse to keep doing something that you know is hurting you. So no, I don't think it's a good idea at all. We're reasonable. I think it's only an excuse so that you can continue gambling. Shippa, thanks for the love. I appreciate you. You have an anxious feeling to gamble, and if you lose, you're still financially okay. You don't want to gamble, but the only way is to get rid of your anxiety to gamble. What do you do? So gambling is the only thing that cures your anxiety, but you can afford your losses. I think that rather than saying like gamble or not gamble, I would say go see a doctor or a counselor. If gambling's the only thing that cures your anxiety, gambling is the only thing that caused my anxiety. Um, I would, yeah, I would get help, dude. I think you should go and see someone about the anxiety, because there has to be a better mechanism than something that causes more anxiety. It's like, oh, I'm feeling a little anxious today. Let me pound 10 espresso shots. Like that would be a bad idea, right? So why pound 10 bets down, you know? How's the Eagles Super Bowl 2024 without gambling and 2018 with it? Sports don't have the same flair for me that they used to, but the experience was cool because I still got to hang out with my friends, with my girlfriend. That was nice. But yeah, I mean, guys, we get addicted to gambling because there's enjoyment to it, right? Like sweating out a bet, being like on the edge of your seat, that's what it was all about. But it reaches a point where the negatives outweigh the positives. And so even though I can point back to nice events that were super enjoyable and fun, there's so many more that caused life-changing debt, anxiety, stress. It just wasn't worth the trade-off, and that's the problem. Self-exclusion helps the casinos, that they won't actually enforce it unless you win. Hey, I didn't say it. I don't think that there's a single thing that exists that the casinos offer that's actually meant to help the player. I think every single thing that's offered is just a facade to look like they're doing something about a problem that they're creating. Corey, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here, my friend. Where do I see the future of my channel in 2026? Who knows? You know, it's grown more than I thought it would, but it's also one of those things where like there's no upper goal, right? I think that if I was to base it on how bad I think gambling is going to become, it's going to grow quite a lot. Kim, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And you like the channel. I appreciate you saying that. Can you be a pro in gambling or can you just stop? You know what? I thought for a really long time that I would be a professional gambler. I thought if I could just learn the right strategy, bet the right bet, find the right types of bets, that I would be a professional. And I deluded myself for 6 years into thinking that it would be the truth, into thinking that I was getting better. So I can tell you an answer, or I can let you find the answer. I feel like if I tell you, no, you'll never be a professional gambler, you might take that as a challenge. You might say, oh, I got to go prove them wrong. Do whatever you want to do. When you're ready to quit, come on back. I remember talking to this director of marketing, and this player lost a lot of money and he threw a chair. I asked if they banned him and they said no, we were trying to figure out how to get him to lose more. Casinos are run by horrible people. They are a horrible business that only exists and only are able to survive at the expense of their consumer. That's the truth. If you have numerous addictions at the same time, I would recommend tackling whichever one is causing more damage in your life. The thing is, like, recovery in general follows a similar pattern regardless of what addiction you might be struggling with. So if you're in recovery from, say, drinking, you might find it easier to quit gambling than you did finding quitting drinking, because you've learned kind of how to take an inventory of yourself, how to become a better person one day at a time. So tackle whichever one's causing most damage, and then hopefully it's a little bit easier for you to tackle the next one. After trying to quit, nothing else seems to hit the same. It's not supposed to. It's not supposed to. If you found something that felt like gambling makes you feel, you would just get addicted to it, and you would just switch addictions, and it would be the same problem. When we gamble, we get a synthetic high. We feel like we're on the top of the world, but our brains are wired to find equilibrium. So when we get that really big high, we also have to come with a crash, a low. And it's not natural, it's not healthy to get that high from gambling. But what you'll find is that over time, your brain's going to reset its tolerance. You're going to get back towards that normal level of feeling, and eventually, you're going to find pleasure in smaller things again. But in the kind of like the short medium term, it might feel pretty boring. Embrace it. It is what it is. Because as we take time away from gambling, we become people that want to gamble less, and life gets a little bit better. So if you slipped into gambling, but you were able to control how much damage was done because of blocks you put in place, put more extreme blocks in place so that it doesn't happen again. But be glad that you had those blocks so that you're not rebuilding from square one. Yep, government promotes lotteries, government promotes casinos. I have a friend that says that casinos and like commercialized gambling in general is a form of financial fraud that can only exist with the permission of the government to defraud the citizens that are playing. It's crazy to think about it that way, but yep. I gotta stop being allergic to my cat. Corey, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you. How do professional gamblers make money? Are they just that good? No, they're not. So what kind of professional gambler are we talking about? One of the sports bettors, or are we talking about one of the streamers? The sports bettors, quote unquote, they're making money by deluding you into thinking they're good at making money so that you buy their pick packages. These streamers make money when you sign up for the casino and lose. They're actually paid and given funds by the casinos to make it look appealing so that you sign up and lose your money. If you like this channel, but you also like to play on occasion, that's totally fine. I don't think that a gambling addict should ever gamble again, but I'm not here to tell you what to do, right? I'm here to provide resources if you ever do reach the point that you want to stop. And so get enjoyment out of the channel. Just know that it exists, and I think it's going to be a good thing. Do you use any drugs and alcohol, or are you just vibing? I like the way that was asked. No, I drink from time to time, but I'm on kind of a sobriety kick right now. Just trying to feel a little healthier. Martino, I'm glad that the content helps. Stop spamming though, bro. Let's see. I'm gonna skip down to the bottom just to catch up with the questions, but if you have any questions that I didn't answer, please ask them one more time. Do I still watch games? Yeah, they're from time to time. They're just not as enjoyable as they once were. I think telling people helps a lot. Absolutely. You think this is AI generated from the eyebrows and fingers? I'll take it as a compliment. I absolutely hate. Can you please answer my question? If you asked a question and I didn't answer it, it's because I scrolled through your questions and am now at the bottom. Your question was probably 20 questions back. I cannot remember what you said. All right, Martina, gotta stop spamming, bro. Gotta put you in a little timeout. I appreciate you, though, but I'm only putting you in a timeout because you're spamming. Do I have a job besides YouTube? Full-time content. It's not just YouTube, though. Let's see. What do you do if you lose all your money and you're really depressed? There's a few things to focus on when recovering from a gambling addiction. It's finding alternative things to do with your time, limiting access to money that will tempt you to gamble, going to support group meetings, such as Gamblers Anonymous, and self-excluding from the casinos. Yeah, it's just wild to spam in a goofy way. Worked in the industry last 11 years, saw a lot of people just like me break free and live amazing lives. Well, I'm glad that you saw that. From what I can tell, a lot of people aren't breaking free, but those that are, I'm really proud of them, and I'm really happy to hear that. So you profit besides going to a GA meeting? Come to a meeting. does that feel like it's a good way to get someone to go to a meeting? By saying, you're profiting from this, go to a meeting. I probably wouldn't think so. Let's see. I feel like it's worse because it's on your phone, it's accessible. Absolutely. That's why we see people going into debt faster than ever before. Because if you're able to gamble more than ever before, accessing it more than ever before, then they're going to play through their money faster than ever before. Let's see, what should I do? GW, ask your question again, the original one. So guys, if you have any questions about gambling, gambling addiction, addiction recovery, drop them down below in the chat. Obligatory plugs time. This video is not monetarily sponsored, but in the description, there's a link to a company called Open Recovery. We're launching communities over there. And in the communities, we're gonna basically have a big group chat of people who are in recovery, there to support each other. I'm so allergic to this cat. Let's see. I'm not scrolling back to answer your question, so if you have a question, just re-ask it, please. Let's see. Soccer enthusiast, but you can't watch a game without gambling. If you can't watch a game without gambling, that means you're not a sports fan. It means you're a gambling fan. What do you think of these players in sports gambling possibly throwing games? I think it's just kind of inevitable. We're seeing it's so easy to access, it's pushed, and all the league owners and the team owners are benefiting from gambling, but the players are not. It sucks. Like, I guess the idea is they make enough money that they wouldn't have to do it, but it just goes to show that like a gambling addiction has nothing to do with the amount of money that you're earning. So even players that are making tens of millions of dollars are getting caught in these gambling scams because they're gambling away everything. Farming bonuses is bad because you're just going to end up tempting yourself back into gambling more. These bonuses don't exist because these casinos like you. They exist because they want you to keep gambling. I gambled for about 6 years before I quit. If you don't tell anyone about your gambling, then you're going to be able to keep doing it for longer because you're not going to be accountable to anyone else. I think self-banning actually is super helpful because you're adding friction to the process, right? It's not a one-stop shop solution to fix the problem forever, but it's making it more difficult for you to gamble. And by doing that, you're giving yourself time when you experience an urge to think, do I want to make the decision that I'm about to make? How to tell your family that you're in debt from gambling. I am in debt from gambling and I have a problem. Like, you can't expect that it's gonna be received well. It's not a good thing, right? But if we're honest with those that we love, it'll eventually reach a point that it's supposed to reach, right? Like, we can't expect them to receive that information well. But once we're open and honest, we put ourselves into a situation where we really can start to rebuild. We can get better. Is it a bad idea to limit gambling, or is it better to go cold turkey? I don't believe that the limits will ever work. I think it's only a matter of time until we spiral. There's so many gambling streamers, GW, absolutely. I put out the content here on the channel, not thinking that I'm going to really be able to compete with the giant tidal wave that is gambling content, but just to tell people the truth, right? Guys, this is an addictive product. It can ruin your life. I don't know any medicines to help with gambling addiction, no. But the 4 things that I focused on, and again, there's a video in the description called How I Quit Gambling. I'd check that one out. The 4 things that I focused on were finding alternatives for your time that mean something to you, limiting access to money by having a family member manage your bank account, going to support group meetings, and self-excluding from the casinos. Yeah, honesty is way better than getting caught. Absolutely. That's what I think. I don't know that online gambling is going to be banned. Oh, in California. Did you ever have formal like online casino anyway? Or are you talking like Kalshi? The group meetings really work, or should you talk to a specialist? Group meetings are really good for becoming accountable to a group of people, making sure that you're feeling like you have a community in recovery. And a specialist is great if you need help battling through becoming a better person, working on yourself. That's my opinion. If you win big and send it to your girlfriend so that you can't touch it, it's only a matter of time until that drives a wedge between you, and it's only a matter of time until all your big wins become future losses. Sweeps casinos are being banned. Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's good to make it more difficult to access. It's going to lead to fewer people using it, I'm sure. 122 days since your last bet. Congratulations, my friend. That's awesome. How many times did I relapse before I finally quit? I got no clue. A lot. If you've ever self-banned yourself, like this is just like, it's so obvious, but it's like the casinos would never say it because they would lose a customer. If you've ever self-banned yourself for any period of time, you shouldn't be gambling because it means that there's a precedent that it's going to happen again. 88 days gambling free. Congratulations, Kathy. That's amazing. And again, Torch, 10 days. Congratulations. If I was offered $1 million sponsorship deal, would I do it? I would think if I was offered $1 million sponsorship deal from a casino, I would think, damn, I'm worth $1 million? Wow, that's awesome. And then I'd go about my business trying to find someone on the good side to send me that amount of money. I'd say, look, they offered it to me. Why don't you guys offer it to me? But no, like, I think there's a lot of like gray area ways that I would be okay with making money, but I'm just so staunchly against this one particular entity that it wouldn't make me, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I wouldn't be okay with it, you know? I would take money from like a lot of groups, but not the casinos. You quit 6 days ago, but your reputation with family is destroyed. It can come back, man. You got to be patient. We can't expect everyone to forgive us right away for doing terrible things. If we're putting people into bad situations, if we're lying to people, like we can't expect that they're going to feel good about that, right? Be patient, keep doing the next right thing, and hopefully you're able to rebuild those relationships with time. How long ago did I start this channel? November of 2022, and I posted the first video in January of 2023. Oh yeah, I totally think if you've ever self-banned yourself, you shouldn't be anywhere near gambling. Absolutely. Like, the idea that those tools exist so that you can limit yourself is laughable, because you can just, one, go to a different website, and two, you're kind of giving yourself an excuse, right? You're like, oh, well, you know what? I'm limiting myself this week. I'm only gambling on Tuesdays, so it's fine. It's kind of just justifying the behavior further. And again, these are my own opinions, but yeah, I don't think that if you've ever used one of those, you should be gambling. Let's see. Once stole my mom's credit card for online poker. She was mad, rightfully so. A lot of times, gambling addiction leads us to do terrible things, including stealing, lying, cheating, manipulating. Vous parlez de quoi? I failed French. I don't know. I just popped up on YouTube one day, so you watched and subscribed. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. I work really hard to put out this content, and it makes me really happy when people subscribe because I know it's going to reach a wider audience as that subscriber number climbs. It's just how YouTube works. Terribly allergic to my own cat. 3 years of gambling, can't stop, and you're losing. 4 things to focus on. Finding alternative things to do with your time that mean something to you. Limiting your access to money that'll tempt you to gamble by having someone control your bank account. Going to support group meetings, and self-excluding from the casinos. If you look in the description of this video, there's a video called How to Stop Gambling. It's a 1 hour long video, very long, sorry, but it walks through everything that I've done to get over 3 years clean from gambling. So I would check that one out. I'm talking about gambling addiction, my friend. You appreciate the channel. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate you. I like reading nice things sometimes. Is self-exclusion public information? Can banks and employers find out about it? I don't know, but it wouldn't really matter. Oh, hello, employer. I don't gamble. Oh, that's terrible. Like, we can't hire. You know what I mean? A bank. Oh, this guy is self-excluded. Oh, he's making good financial decisions now. Like, it'd be a good thing, right? Theoretically. What was the hardest part of 3 years sober? When did it start getting easier? Hardest part was the first couple months, and after that's when it started getting easier. I didn't have anything to replace my time and energy with, and I didn't have anything that I cared about. So I think that was the hardest part, was finding something to channel my energy into. Out of all the guests that have shared their stories, which one hit the hardest? I think anyone's story can hit hard. But in terms of delivery of the story, it was definitely Ben Yu. His video is called "I Stole $500,000 to Fuel My Gambling Addiction," and his story, the way he delivered it, is just so emotional. It was like by far the strongest delivery on the channel, I think, including my own story. Kathy, thanks for watching it. I appreciate you. Martino, that's why I didn't ban you, my friend. I know you're in just a bad place. I saw your question. You don't got to spam. Do my best to answer it when it comes in, you know? They have arcades, which are just casinos, probably. Oh, that's whack. Where are you from? I'm going to get a little bit of water. Guys, feel free to keep asking questions. I'll be right here yapping as soon as I fill this water up. Because this goddamn cat sheds so much, and the hair ends up, as I keep yapping, choking on the hair, running around, trying to do a YouTube live, and this guy's just stomping around over here. Oof. Fort Myers, interesting. Yeah, I had never heard of that, but I can look into it. 9 days free since you downloaded Gamban. I'm glad to hear. You watch YouTube videos of people gambling. So I thought that would be a good thing when I first quit, but what it's actually doing is it's running your brain through the same pattern that you were previously doing with your own gambling. And it's not giving you the proper space to heal. It's actually a bad thing. It's going to continue the addiction because you're not giving your brain the chance to reset, to calm down. It's kind of like a detox is what you need. And a detox means to stay away from gambling altogether. The distraction that got me away from gambling eventually became this channel and the work that I do here. In the beginning, I was trying anything, like hot yoga, the gym, meditating. This channel really did it because it made me feel like I was contributing in a way that I hadn't felt in a very long time. It made me feel good about what I was doing with my time, and that's what it's about. It's about finding something that makes you feel like you're making progress, makes you feel like you're contributing to the world. That's what I think. Sebastian, thanks for being here, my friend. Why do I always want to quit only when you lose all your money? Because that's when you realize that gambling is bad, but it's been bad the whole time. Do I have a day job or YouTube full time? Content full time, I guess, for different channels, but yeah, social media full time. Be loving and kind to the cat. He's over there. He's being a good guy, but I'm allergic to him. Yeah, if you're recovering from heroin, would you watch videos of people shooting up? That's a good way of putting it. Do I feel like people that fall into gambling have a lack of purpose? I did, but I don't think it's the only reason to fall in. But definitely was for me. I viewed sports betting as my purpose. It was something to aspire to get better at. I talked to a therapist, my friend. Yeah, and I thought that it really helped, especially in the beginning. The problem for me was that when I was talking to my therapist, we weren't focusing on gambling. We were focusing on depression and anxiety. And I was lying to myself about why I was experiencing those things. It was actually because I was addicted to gambling. But I told myself it was all kinds of other stuff. Mine was the dopamine levels that you have when you quit gambling. It takes about, I believe the number was like 21 to 90 days on average. So that's a pretty wide range. Other channels, the one that I work with the most is Right Choice Recovery. We have a lot of content on YouTube that's like collab post type content, and then TikTok, Instagram. What do I tell someone that keeps relapsing but wants to stop, doesn't really know how? 4 things to focus on. Find alternative things to do with your time that mean something to you. Limit your access to money that's laying around that's tempting you by having a family member or loved one control your bank account. Self-exclude, make it more difficult to gamble, and go to support group meetings. Those are what I would tell anyone that's struggling. I need like a cough drop or something. I'm dying out here. Guys, I'm doing everything I can, but I think I'm going to be wrapping within the next 5-10 minutes. Your therapist experience was awful. Didn't talk about gambling, just had to name emotions. Yeah, I think it was just like, in my experience, we were just focused on the wrong things because I wasn't letting him in, right? I wasn't really sharing anything about the gambling. And then when I did, he didn't understand the gambling. And so I think that I just was in a situation that I wasn't going to get help from that particular therapist, even though he was a good counselor. He just didn't know anything about gambling, and I was leading him to try to help me with things that really weren't where we should have been focusing on. Guys, I have a video that I want you to watch on the channel if you get a chance. I just put it out today. It's called "I Bought These Billboards Because You Suck at Gambling." I don't want to give you too much more extra context. I want you to just go and check it out. But I legitimately bought some billboards in Philly to put out messages about gambling and gambling addiction. So go and check that one out next. Did I lose a lot of relationships while I was gambling, and when I was able to get them back? Yes and yes. When you are addicted to gambling, you become someone that pushes everyone else to the side. You become someone that's irritable, that only cares about themselves. But when you're in recovery, you can be someone that rebuilds those situations as you become a better person each day. How to stop the urge to chase when you're down a little. Don't get down a little by stopping gambling, because you cannot get rid of that urge unless you stop. That's the thing. Like, you're not going to gamble responsibly. You're going to lose if you keep playing. All wins are going to become future losses, and all small losses are going to spiral into bigger ones. Your debt is too much. Should you consider declaring bankruptcy? You're asking a gambling addict in recovery if you should declare bankruptcy. Not a financial advisor, my friend. Please consult one. I can point you towards one. If you check out GamFin, if you're in the United States, they might offer free financial counseling for you if you're struggling with gambling, depending on what state you're in. If you truly want to stop, once again, I've listed off like 4 things to do, but really check out the description of this video. This is a video called How to Quit Gambling, and I lay out everything that I did, and it's a little long, in fairness, but I lay out everything I did to get over 3 years clean, in depth. The last guy in my billboard video sounded hilarious. He was nuts, admittedly. It was like the weirdest street encounter I've ever had in my life. How long before I felt like I was turning the corner? 6 months, I would say. How do you make peace with your losses? That's the amount of money that you had to lose to learn that it was only going to get worse. Every time that you had a big loss, you ended up with a bigger loss. So remember that. If you continue, you will lose more. The money that you lost was only the tip of the iceberg from what could have happened. There's no peace, there's no enjoying it, but you just move on, because it's only going to get worse if we continue to gamble. Yeah, we're losing relationships because of gambling is rough. It really is. But hopefully over the course of the question and answer session tonight, you had your question answered, or you heard something that was useful. The only thing that I really ask from anyone that watches content on this channel, other than, watching it when it shows up, is to hit that subscribe button. I work really hard to put out this content. And the way that YouTube pushes things out, if we have more subscribers on the channel, it reaches more people. And that's why I'm always saying subscribe, asking you to look if you're subscribed, these kinds of things. And I know you hate when YouTubers do it. It's annoying. But we do it so that we can keep making videos full time. And that's really all it's about. That's how you can support the channel, become a part of this community, and help someone else find the videos. So this absolutely cooked me tonight. But I want to thank you all for being here. Check out the description for links to resources, links to different groups that I work with, and hopefully you'll find something in there that can be useful to you. Hopefully you heard something useful to you tonight. Anthony, thanks so much, man. What's my opinion on the rise in gambling streamers? They're doing a ton of damage. There's going to be mass apologies, and millions of lives are going to be ruined because of them. CoffeeZilla recently did a video. I reacted to it, and it was like really depressing, honestly, because it was like things are really bad when it comes to gambling. And the trend is that there's so much money on that side pushing this idea that gambling is a good thing. I'm working on an answer for it. I don't think it'll be too much longer before I have it, but it's not good. But what is good is recovery. And it's certainly possible no matter what you're struggling with. And that's who I really hope to reach when I go live here on the channel. People who actively want to get help, people who are working on themselves, people who are getting up every day and trying to become a better person. And for a while, it might feel like that sucks and it's not doing anything. Life's not getting any better. But eventually, it will. Tip number 1, if you are allergic to cats, don't adopt a cat as adorable as he may be, because you will become allergic to your house. With that said, congratulations on blocking FanDuel today, my friend. I'm Rob. I'm in recovery from a gambling addiction. Made my last bet November the 12th, 2022. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for asking questions. And if you want to see any more content that I have, come and check out the channel next. And I'm going to stall to get this exactly to 1 hour. And let's keep getting better together, one day at a time. Good night, everybody.